Good morning, sixth graders. Happy reading day and happy Friday. I am gone for a family funeral. I'm sorry about that today, but I did want to share one of my favorite books that I used to read with my sixth graders was The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. I enjoyed reading this with my sixth grade classes for years. It, of course, has a map at the beginning of these wonderful fictitious places to visit, like the Kingdom of Words called Dictionopolis, after a dictionary, and a Kingdom of Numbers called Digitopolis, and like digits, and it's a very punny book, so it has lots of puns and plays on words. If you have that kind of sense of humor, you may like it. It starts out kind of slow, but it's really exciting once you get into it, and it just uses a play on a lot of different concepts about learning, and it's a wonderful book. Just remember, so that you have in your mind, and the dates are up on the whiteboard behind the computer as well, Genius Hour showcases are this Monday, so today's your last day to get ready for that. Your Genius Hour journal will be turned in and is a big part of that grade, having your notes and your process, what you tried at home, what you did in class, what you found when you researched. Make sure that you have that ready for Monday. The Canadian Regions Project, also document 1, should be finished. We spent all week and you had a couple extra days to finish up if you needed to. So your locations and your 5 to 7 places, well described, like a paragraph of information, should be ready, all your notes typed in your document, and you will be turning those in Monday before we begin the showcases. Remember presentations, we will work on the project next week, and then you will be sharing your field trip plans on Monday the 26th, so you have just next week. This is not a project that you can get behind on. You need to make sure you're doing each step along the way. So document part 1, due Monday to be graded. It should be finished already. You've had several days this week for those 2 parts, just location and place. Today, part of your time could be spent. You should complete part 3, HEI, in document part 2. These are in Google Classroom. You know where the links are. You know the slides are there. This video with directions will be there. The video from location and place are on the slides so that you have everything you need to do well and follow the directions for this project. Yesterday we talked about for HEI, 3 to 5. It's okay if you have 3 because this is a little bit more challenging. 3 ways they change their environment that are vacation worthy, that you would go and visit. Also outdoor activities like hiking, kayaking, but you need to describe them enough that you have a paragraph, about a paragraph of information in your notes, because you're going to get up here and be able to talk about it and describe it when you share it with the field trip. So make sure you have enough notes for each of those places. This slide may help you also. So the first part of HEI in part 3 is ways they change their environment that are worth visiting, like Country Dairy, a dairy farm that you might go on a tour and see how cheese is made, or milk. Orchards, like Lewis Farm Market, when you go and you do all the fun things, they might have animals that you can visit. Ways that they change by clearing the fields so that they have it for the orchards, planting the trees. Hydroelectric dams, sometimes they create lakes behind them that are used for recreation, like boating can be an activity for HEI. Doing all of the water sports like water skiing, if that's part of what they do in that province. Bridges, where they've altered the landscape to build bridges, or bridges over canyons, through mountains. Sometimes they tunnel to make highways go through mountains. Canals, we talked about the locks on anywhere on the St. Lawrence Seaway. You've got canals and locks. And then monuments like Mount Rushmore, where they've carved a sculpture into the mountainside. Any man-made landmarks would be part of that, ways they've changed their environment and might be worth visiting. Statue of Liberty would be an example. So if there are places like that, and we've shown you some in Canada, that giant Easter egg might be a way that they've changed, by building that, they've changed their environment there. Farming, agriculture can be a way, like they clear the trees for the fields, or they have to at least work the land and plant the different, so you see the checkered board of the different crops. Outdoor activities, think all seasons. Describe where, again, you want about a paragraph of information. Skiing, particular resorts like Whistler outside of Vancouver for British Columbia is worth reading about. Kayaking on a specific river, a specific kind of kayaking, or ocean kayaking, sea kayaking, so that you see whales. You might be out there in this tiny kayak and a big huge whale is underneath you. You might go on a whale watching tour. They have special boats to take you out. Charter fishing. There may be hiking or walking tours. Cycling, cycling tours that you can go on. Railways, like the Skagway Railway in the Yukon. There's also a canyon near Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. If you have Ontario, the Agawa Canyon, they've built a railroad through there, so that's how they altered the environment. So you can see the beautiful waterfalls and rivers that they have through that canyon, and they do both summer and winter tours through that. Your choices today, don't grab Chromebooks yet, make sure you freeze. You are going to choose wisely, because if you use your class time, then you have less to prepare at home over the weekend. If you waste this hour, you are still going Monday for showcasing. You still have your document due, so try to get it done, because the goal is that this isn't, you've had weeks and weeks to prepare for the showcase, and you've had all week to get the first document done for the Regions project. Genius Hour showcase, you can work on, you can read what you're going to say. So I know we're reading today, it's the read-in, but you need to be reading and using this time, because otherwise if you're completely done, it's okay to read a book silently. But if you use the time to read and you haven't finished your project document, you're going to lose points on Monday when you turn that in. So please do your best. Please make sure your Canada's Regions project is done up through part 3. So you finish human environment interaction. It should be done by the end of hour today. And you are prepared with what you're going to share for your Genius Hour showcase, and your journal is ready to turn in. One thing I wanted to show you for HEI, the last thing, and then these slides again are in Google Classroom. This video will be there so that you can see these slides. You can pause the video for any of these directions. Some helpful hints, if you're using Frommer's for the HEI to find, make sure you search your province. So if I put in British Columbia, and I hit search, remember you're going to go past all of the ads and things to do. If I'm doing HEI, I want things to do in British Columbia. And they're going to give me this list. Remember, as you read, they hide part of it. You'll see this read more. You want to make sure you click on that and you get more. So I see cities, what to do in Vancouver, what to do in the countryside, where the best like eating and drinking, mountain lakes, Whistler is talked about, the chairlifts, river rafting just outside Jasper National Park, bicycling through the cedar and hemlock trees in Vancouver's Stanley Park. That's based on the Stanley Cup for hockey. So you want to check on those places and see the things to do, activities. The other one is active pursuits, but look through these. You're going to see all kinds of like the best scenic drives. You might take a scenic drive that's interacting with the environment. Best walks, there might be things for you to do. Sometimes a festival or celebration, going dancing at the Irish Music Festival. And it might have to do with the history of that area, or the Highland Games like Nova Scotia, throwing a log like the Scottish people used to do. Those are activities, things that you're going to do. So the most scenic views. So again, before you did places, now we're thinking active, activities, actions that you can do, ways they interact or ways that they changed their environment. So go to active pursuits. And you're thinking man-made for HEI, what humans have done. So there's biking, and they're going to describe it, and then you might go look into the travel site and find more details. So you have about a paragraph for each of these activities. Canoeing and kayaking, diving. You might go out and go diving. There might be shipwrecks if you're on the ocean coast or in any of the deep lakes, Great Lakes even, because Ontario borders the Great Lakes. Fishing, what kind of fishing are you going to have? Hiking, beaches, going swimming, horseback riding, sea kayaking. But again, describe a specific place where you're doing this and what it would be like, because we're going on a field trip. So we need to kind of have a virtual picture of what it is that we're doing. Skiing, whitewater rafting in Jasper National Park. So places you would pay, buy a ticket, take a tour. And then anything that they've done, like if they built a skywalk, they had that at Glass Walk over the Grand Canyon. That's human environment interaction because humans have built it. In Vancouver, just outside of Vancouver, there might be zip lining. They've made this tree walk where you walk up kind of in the canopy of the trees. So look for places and ways you can interact with the environment that have man-made structures, like a landmark, going to see that giant Easter egg, or going to see the largest, you might interact with if they have anything like Mount Rushmore, but it has to do with the history of Canada. So really you kind of have to read. You have to do a lot of reading to find these places and kind of get to know, look at these different menu items, get to know your province and your territory. All right, make sure you are on task today. No talking unless you're just a whisper to your partner if you're not doing that. Or that tell them which one you're doing so that they don't do the same. Please be kind to the sub and have a great day.